Horror games are the most peculiar games if compared to the most popular games in the world. When someone talks about horror games, the first game that pops up in our head is Minecraft. No, but nowadays, horror games feel repetitive and dull because you just know what to expect. But recently, there has been a rise in popularity of games made by this particular developer company named
It's getting more and more creepy every time.
Chilla's art make indie horror games which have really good stories, but the gameplay is kinda meh, which in my opinion makes it better. Just the rawness of the game makes it more fun to play. These type of games are called retro styled games, which are purposefully made with shit graphics, but their later games have been good in graphics as they have gained a little popularity. They have made over 20 games and the team only contains 2 brothers. The game published by Chilla's art developers, let's just call them Chilla for short, they have a weird way of jump scaring people. It doesn't feel natural, it feels really uncanny. It's very Black Mirror-esque in a way. I think to understand why Chilla's games are different, you should understand why do humans psychologically find horror games fun. If you're in a forest and a bear starts chasing you, you won't think this is fun, right? But you do find horror games fun. It is basically simulating you being in danger. The answer is epinephrine or the rush which you get from being in danger. There are people who like this adrenaline rush known as adrenaline junkies because they keep chasing that high doing more and more freaky shit. These people do stuff which puts them on the edge of danger. They're basically edging on dying. A lot of these acts are harmless because of the safety net, but some people are assholes and they drive bikes and cars really fast and kill a lot of innocent people. In horror games, you get the rush from Jumpscare when the monster is chasing you or when the monster is chasing you. But in games like Closing Shift, it's more about the ambience and the world where the game is set. The people who you need to talk with, it's about the uncanny feeling of who you can trust and who you can't. A famous game you might have heard of, Subnautica, is a survival game where you're on an alien planet which is 99% ocean. You and your team were on some mission and your big ass ship crashed due to unknown reason. Your mission is to find your teammates if they survived and try to find the reason why your ship crashed. And also leave this planet immediately cause this shit ain't friendly out here. In the early game you're just trying to explore, collect some ores, find some water and food and make all the basic tools you will need. If you haven't played the game yet, what are you doing with your life? Go buy the game and play it, you fucking idiot. Now, spoiler alert, your friends are dead and the ship is beyond saving, as you might have noticed, and you find out that a big ass pistol shot your ship. That's why your ship got blown and all your fucking friends died. And you also find out that the gun is for people leaving instead of people coming in because there is a pandemic on this planet and you're probably infected. So you can't leave without finding the cure because you can't disable the big ass pistol that shot your ship without being virus free. And one more bad news, the aliens who are finding the cure are dead. Now here you are on this alien planet alone. Good news is that there are remains of the study the aliens were doing. You just need to find the cure with the help of their remains. Disable the gun, make a ship and get the fuck out of here. Now that the goal is clear, the only thing remaining is to
detecting multiple Leviathan class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
Subnautica is a horror game where you are on a planet which is 99% ocean. When you're in the water alone trying to find different material, you look ahead and it is just a void and you can't see anything. Your only safe space is this tiny submarine. You hear different creatures having no idea what they are and where the sound is coming from. How big is that then? Thalassophobia is the fear of ocean. It's a fear of what is there down there. Oh, it's your mom. Subnautica is a game where it doesn't give you a lot of jump scare. Like it does have jump scare, don't get me wrong. Like you will have your heads blown off sometimes. But the ambience, the environment, just knowing that any creature could just pull up in front of you right now and you can't do shit about it. This is the type of horror Chilla's art games provide you with. Now, horror game graphics are crazy nowadays. Games like Resident Evil 2, Outlast, Until Dawn. But some say that it's too good and not that scary and creepy anymore. There are people who argue that old horror games are better and they get more scared while playing older horror games. And the main consensus is that the graphics of old games are shit graphics, making some enemy models looking like this, which I'll admit is kinda terrifying. It's the uncanny valley effect. It's like your instincts telling you whatever you're seeing is not what you think you're seeing. Due to technical limitations, the animations were also not realistic, which added to the creepiness. Older games also did not give a fuck about you as a player. They were like, here, play this game, figure it out yourself. Because half the time you're just trying to figure out the controls, and the enemies were also really difficult at times, like you're playing a Souls game. You see this happening in games like Fear and Hunger, where a lot of game insights are just not told to the player. But there are people who still create games that have old graphics. It might be intentional or that they just don't have good budget, but Chilla's art developers, they do it really well. The graphics really give off this uncanny feeling, like you always feel a weird sense of being watched. The characters look weird as shit, that really give off that old PS2 vibes. A lot of the time you can just turn off the old graphics filter, which improves the graphics a lot. The atmosphere as well adds to the creepy feeling. Just like in Subnautica, you might be doing the most mundane task of collecting ore, then a fucking spawn of Satan appears in front of you. Chilla's art games also do this, kinda. Like you might be just making coffee or cleaning table and the fucking light goes off and whoa, who the fuck are you? In a lot of their titles, games are based on real life situations instead of more paranormal cases. It's just real life things that could happen to any of you or even me, and that I feel really makes the game more immersive. You can put yourself into these situations and imagine how you'd feel, which really doesn't happen for me in fictional games, because I just have that subconscious thing in my mind thinking that this can't really be a real thing. It's like watching gore in movies and shows compared to watching a clip of Atal execution. Puzzles are a big part of the gameplay loop. In the game Inunaki Tunnel, there is a puzzle which really made me collapse into singularity because that was really bad. And to be honest, Inunaki Tunnel is one of their weaker games comparatively. If I had to name their 3 best games in my opinion, number 3rd would be Karaoke, 2nd would be Closing Shift, and 1st would be Parasocial. These games barely have any paranormal ghosty stuff in them, which really makes me immersed in these games. Chilla's art games have made total 21 games which are displayed on their website. These games are all horror games. The most popular game in these are Closing Shift, Convenience Store, and Parasocial. A lot of gaming YouTubers have played this, like Markiplier, Cory Kenshin, who played Closing Shift and got 46 million views like a year ago. You're probably wondering why the fuck am I making this video right now after a year? Cause I'm fucking stupid, that's why. Please kill me now. Now Chilla has a lot of good stories. I'll be explaining full story of the game Parasocial and then I'll discuss the same. A lot of the game includes stories related to crimes like kidnapping, sexual assault, stalking. The Karaoke is a game, 2 friends, high school students. This game is also a horror game, but the horror element is the creepiness of the professor who sexually assaults main character's friend. This is the type of horror you can expect in Chilla's art. Now moving on to Parasocial, which is one of the most sold game. Parasocial is a horror game about a female streamer who lives alone and weird things happen to her. Without spoiling anything, Parasocial is definitely one of their best game in my opinion. It is really realistic and just puts you in the shoes of a person who doesn't know who to trust. It really plays tricks on you. If you're thinking about trying this game, then skip ahead to this timestamp to avoid spoilers. I would suggest going into this blind. So the main girl wakes up and starts streaming, and then suddenly something happens and her face is revealed. She stops streaming and texts her only friend about it, who's at work. Her friend says, "Don't overthink it." Then a random guy drops a letter to the door, which says, "I'm always watching over you." At this point, she is stressed because her face was revealed, because she is a VTuber, and in VTuber community, showing your face by mistake is like killing their newborn child. She wakes up and collects 50 years of trash that's been accumulated over the years and go out to throw the trash. Then she finds an important character to the story, the cop. They talk a little and you go to throw the trash. That might be the shocker, but who knows. Asuka, the friend, comes and they both go to a coffee shop. Wait, hold on. She tells her everything that happened and she sympathizes, and also Asuka asks about the recent breakup she had with her toxic boyfriend. Then a guy takes her pictures and runs away. Asuka drops her at the entrance and she gets in the lift. And the same guy from earlier runs in the lift. He tries to get out but too late. He doesn't do anything except avoid eye contact. Then she gets to her home. She starts streaming again, and after that she finds a pamphlet giving the number of the building manager. Next day, she wakes up and orders food. The Uber delivery guy just does not bring the food for some reason, so she goes to the combini and finds the fucking Mount Everest and her loser boyfriend. While going home, she gets stalked again by the same black puffer jacket guy. She goes home, finds a message from unknown number saying that maybe you should trust your boyfriend. You as a player are given a choice here that if you should trust your boyfriend or not. She does trust her boyfriend, and he sends her this pic of Asuka with the stalker, the black puffer jacket guy. So she starts to get scared and blocks Asuka, and suddenly there's this weird glitchy sound coming. Oh, it's coming from the computer. The avatar starts talking to her. How pitiful being abandoned by your own best friend, forever alone, just like me. The PC crashes, she stands up panicking and hears a knock on the window of the storage room. She checks the window. It's the stalker. As soon as he sees her, he dips. Her balcony opens. He comes in. She looks at her phone. The live chat is telling her to kill him with a screwdriver. She gets the screwdriver and tries to run away. Asuka opens the door and kills her. Then she wakes up. She talks to the policeman, who is weirdly creepy about it. After the creepy dream, she is pretty scared about being home alone. So she calls the only person she knows, Asuka. Asuka arrives and the girl starts screaming. Asuka says that the fridge is empty, so she insists on going to the combini. The girl continues screaming, but something weird happens. The game she is playing, it looks just like her neighborhood. She goes in her apartment in the game, and as soon as she reaches inside her house, the game ends. She looks to the left and there is a camera pointing at her. She tries to call Asuka, but her phone starts to ring outside the house. This is in the balcony of the neighbors. She goes inside and finds video of her on the computer. The stalker was living next to her apartment the whole time. There are a lot of pictures of her. She walks in the bathroom and finds Asuka tied up against her will. She unties Asuka and then someone comes in the apartment. She quickly runs into her own apartment from the balcony and finds the puffer jacket guy over there. She sneaks behind him and runs away, and after exiting the lift, she finds the building manager there. Then you're given the choice to take the building manager's help or run. She ignores her and runs again. Near the building exit stands the policeman. He asks her to stop and not to run away. She still runs to the police station safely. Again, you were given the choice to take the help of the policeman or not to take the help of the policeman. After then, you are shown a news clip. 4 people are caught. Rikia, her ex, Rikia's younger brother, puffer jacket guy, Rikia's dad, the policeman, Rikia's mother, the building manager. This is how the story ended. Throughout the game, we always were kept on toes. We as players needed to decide who to trust. When we called for Asuka, there were different choices for who to call. If we called for Rikia, then he would come to her rescue and save her. She would start dating him again and feel indebted to him. One day Asuka shows her pics of Rikia paying the stalker. All the other endings are bad endings. If you want to see the endings, then you can play the game or just watch this video which explains the story well. Stalking in real life is a scary experience. Imagine yourself as an 18-year-old weak girl and there's this random guy entering your house recording you taking a shit. That's pretty fucking scary, alright? The music in this game and even the jump scare are really different than your normal horror game. It's not about a scary monster, it's just a creepy guy running inside a lift where you're alone. I think in Chilla's art games, there are a lot of jump scare which shouldn't be jump scares. It's just a guy coming inside a lift or a guy throwing trash. Even in the dream, the guy creepily just comes inside your house through the window balcony. That just makes my stomach churn. I just love the style created by these people, and I hope they keep making bangers like Closing Shift and Parasocial. I really hope you find this video on Chilla's art helpful and made you understand the world of Chilla's art games better. Just like you all love playing games, and I also upload them to YouTube, so please consider supporting me by subscribing and hitting the like button. It's free. If you don't do it, I will fucking kill you. Alright? This is a fucking threat. I know where you live.
We work at Chili's. That's basically what. Ah! What? Of all the things, that was not what I expected. I mean, who should expect that? My God, freaking Chilla. Chilla's arts, when they do jump scares, they hit hard. And they're unexpected when they happen. My God. Why does everyone in this universe move so fast? That's what I want to know. Watch where you're going. Jesus, young ones these days. How did you run that fast?